call the meeting to order. Can I have an approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Any changes? None, okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We will convene a closed session for Ed Code 35146, consideration of a confidential subject matter. Be back at 6:30. We'll reconvene to open session. No action was taken in closed session. And so 4B, we have our flag salute, and we have Madison, welcome. And I think her partner's not here, right?
Looks like it's just Madison.
Okay,
Okay.
well, that's fine.
I pledge allegiance to the.
Wait, tell us to stand.
Oh, please stand for the pledge.
Okay,
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Madison, I have a pen for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
I'm gonna go right now.
You can put that on your resume when you go to college. Okay, so presentations, 5, we have none. And public comment, I have no cards, so no public comment. So we'll go on to communication. Student board member reports. So, Devin?
October is a very busy and exciting time for Rancho students. After coming back from the PG&E power outage, the students are amped up for our homecoming week celebrations. Our In the Spotlight dance will be held this Saturday, which incorporates Broadway musicals. Our Cougars are always a fan of our new spirit days, such as Trendy Tuesday, where we dressed up as trends of today. We held homecoming court elections and using an online submission form for the first time for nominations. We had our votes casted for King and Queen today at lunch, as well as for Prince and Princess, Duke and Duchess, and Lord and Lady. Our rally will be this Friday, and afterwards will be our parade and football game. Freshmen will recreate The Lion King, sophomores have Mamma Mia, juniors reenact Hairspray, and seniors have Grease. This month is Pink Month, where we raise money for breast cancer awareness. Our goal this year is $1,000, which we are already close to. On our first day of raising, we collected $318. Pink Month is an annual event where we hold to show our community that our Cougars care. Our football pink game will be held on October 25th. Going with the theme of philanthropy, we held our first blood drive towards the end of September. Rancho has been the leading high school in Northern California in collecting blood donations. We hope to keep this up with our second blood drive later on in the school year. Towards the end of September as well, Rancho held elections for our new student senate. Each second period elected a senator to represent them and allows them to voice their input to the school. We are very excited to hold our first meeting and can't wait to see the benefits of this new addition to our school. Our girls' tennis team remains undefeated, and for the first time in Rancho history, they may earn a league championship. We are very excited to see our Lady Cougars succeed and wish them luck for the rest of their season. To show more of our Cougar pride, our choir held their first concert of the year, and Student of the Month will be held later this month, where we recognize some of our stellar students. Coming up in the month of November, we will be having our canned food drive. We hope every year to raise more pounds of food than we did the last. Our ASB class is very excited to see how Rancho does this year and give back to the community in need. Thank you.
After our last meeting, a great amount has occurred at Tech High. We had our first prospective parent night last Tuesday from 6 to 7:30 p.m., which was an absolute hit. Parents and students from all over the county got to hear from students, staff, and Miss Mooney about the various aspects of Tech High, as well as have their many questions answered. We are so excited to be holding another one tonight at the same time. Sept-Up Days, our version of a shadow day, are occurring on November 7th and 14th, and will welcome and market our school to prospective students, showing them what Tech is all about. These events help us welcome prospective students to Tech, which assists us in achieving our goal and creating a unique and diverse school environment. On Wednesday, October 30th at 8 in the morning, both sophomores and juniors will be taking the PSAT to prepare themselves for taking both the SAT and the ACT in the future. At the same time, our seniors are preparing for FAFSA night, which will occur next Tuesday, October 22nd. Additionally, this Saturday, October 19th, we are holding our Enchanted Garden homecoming dance at the DoubleTree. Our sophomore representatives had put so much time and effort into this event, and it is bound to be amazing. This week is also our Homecoming Spirit Week, which is called Salad Week, taken from ASB's experience at CATA this summer and inspired by various salad dressings. Today was Ranch Day, where students dressed up as their best cowgirl or cowboy gear. Tomorrow's House, our Pajama Day. Wednesday is Thousand Island, our Island Tourist Day. And Friday is Blue Cheese, our Tech Spirit Day. This Spirit Week is quite fun and creative and is definitely one of my personal favorites. This all leads up to our homecoming rally this Friday, which will be salad-themed and will include a variety of amusing games and activities. Because we do not have a homecoming game this year, ASB has put together a dodgeball tournament that will occur this Thursday, October 17th, at the Tech Middle Tennis Courts, starting at 4:30, where students can create teams and compete against one another in a fun and safe environment. There, ASB will be selling snacks such as grilled cheese sandwiches and Capri Suns. This event went quite well when we had it last year and was incredibly exciting to watch. I cannot wait to see how wonderful it is this year. Also, on that same day, at 6 p.m., the freshmen will be showcasing their hard work and creativity at Rube Goldberg Night. It is always so fun to see all of their innovation. If you have not yet had the chance to visit our new campus, feel free to stop by and watch our rally, look at the wonderful contraptions at Rube Goldberg Night, and check out any other of the remarkable events that ASB will be putting on. We would love to have you there. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have 7B, Roanoke Park Cotati Educators Association report. Welcome.
I'd like to focus on some of the good things that are happening in our schools. Evergreen, they had a PBIS video that Michael Kirby made for us and is a finalist in the statewide PBIS video contest. So they'll find out at the end of the month who is a winner, if they are. At Hahn, they had a very successful walkathon. Not only did they meet their fundraising goal, but students, staff, and family had a fun morning. After walking for about an hour, students enjoyed popsicles, and those who returned their envelopes that day got to throw water balloons at the principal. Monte Vista just had a fun walkathon fundraiser and walked with the Roanoke Park Police and a fire. Richard Crane did what we're about ready to do now. They took a 3-week break. Thomas Page had a motivational assembly focused on kindness. Lawrence Jones had an anti-bullying week. It was already mentioned that Rancho had a blood drive, a very successful one. And take a look at their website. They now have what's called Rancho News Network. And they have a weekly broadcast from the TAG building produced by the Advanced Filmmaking and Broadcasting students. Tech High, as mentioned, had an 8th grade parent night. And over the weekend, brand new grass. It's beautiful to see it. Do not step on it. And finally, a shout out to our district people, especially after the way they handled the PG&E, what we didn't know was going on. And I was getting Nixle alerts about every 12 seconds, was it, with a change? And our district office was right on top of it about every 13 seconds. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Consent agenda.
Okay, I recuse myself from item C.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda A through H?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We'll go to 9A, California Distinguished Schools Dashboard Local Indicators. Julie.
I like the distinguished schools part. No, yes, I would
Did
love.
I say that?
Yes, that's
I
okay.
added
I
that.
like it. No, it
I
sounds
added
great.
that.
Keep it in there. Definitely, we're distinguished. Absolutely. I'd like to talk a little bit about our California accountability system. And one of the things that we have to do is we report on a variety of state and local measures. These state and local measures help to inform the LCAP planning process. And one of the conditions to complete the process is to report the results of our local indicators at one of our board meetings. So here we are. We have two different types of measures to be reported, state indicators and local indicators. The state indicators are calculated and pre-populated for our district, and those are those state indicators that include academic performance, so how we're performing on the CASP and CAW tests, so in English and math. We have our graduation rate, which can't wait till that refreshes and gets the right graduation rate up there here shortly. It reports on chronic absenteeism, college and career readiness, and English language learner progress. And these state indicators all receive a color ranking on the dashboard. The highest color is blue, followed by green, yellow, orange, and red. And we don't want to be in the orange and red categories. But tonight we're talking a little bit about the local indicators. And these indicators include the basic conditions at school. So basically we want to make sure that all students have credentialed teachers in the classroom and we don't have misassignments. They want to know and make sure that we have appropriate instructional materials for our students, that our facilities are in good repair. They want to know about the implementation of state academic standards, that our teachers are teaching to the Common Core standards. They want to know about our progress towards parent and family engagement. Are we providing surveys? Do we provide opportunities for parents and community members to engage with us and talk and provide input of how we're doing? They also want to check a school climate survey. So how do we talk to our students? How are we finding out how our students feel about their schools? Every other year, we implement the California Healthy Kids Survey. This past year, in 2018-19, it was an off year, so we did individual site surveys and did a lot of student focus groups. Went around and had a lot of fun talking to students. And finally, we have to prove that we offer access to a broad course of study. So we look at master schedules, we look at our honors classes, our CTE classes, our elective classes, and make sure that we have unduplicated pupils in all of our programs. And the one great thing about the local indicators, it's basically measuring our progress. Did we do these things? And I am very pleased to report that in all 5 priority areas, CRP-USD has met progress performance. And so right now, I'm currently entering all this data into the California dashboard, which is due to be submitted by November 1st. So to report, we are all well on our way, and congratulations, CRP-USD, for meeting our performance indicators.
Questions?
I have a question. Just in regards to the dashboard, have they created anything yet so where you can see all 3rd grade, not just in our
I'm sorry,
district,
Jennifer, I can't hear you.
but I'm asking if on the dashboard they've created any kind of format where we can compare our 3rd grade level with Santa Rosa's 3rd grade level, or 11th grade level, or anything like that yet.
Not yet, but there is another website that we're playing around with that it's not quite ready yet, so we were playing around with that. You can see ours, and then when you go to click onto another site, it wasn't generating, but it says it's there, so I'm hoping the capabilities are coming very quickly. So I will get you guys that information, most likely the next board meeting where I can kind of present scores and then all that fun stuff to come. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And the question on the dashboard, at some point we're going to talk about our results and our goals for that. I know it's not an agenda item there, but
The scores were just released last week, and so we're in the process of analyzing those and looking at how we did overall, but then how our various subgroups did. And so that information was just released last Thursday. And so we're in the process of digesting that and looking at that. So yes, a report will be forthcoming.
okay. Possibly November's board meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Other questions? If not, no action is necessary there. So we will go to 11A, fiscal update and planning.
All right. So the first item that we have on here is the 2019-20 budget, and what we've been presenting to the board now on a regular monthly basis is the combined general fund, and it's basically showing the changes to the budget from prior year to prior month to current month. So this is from August 31st to September 30th, 2019. And there's very minimal changes still on the budget. We still have work that we're going to be doing moving forward, making some adjustments. So what we have here basically is looking of some of the local revenues. Those are still our local class donations and those types of budgets that local revenues that are getting booked. The other changes on the expenditure side is really related to booking of prior year carryover into the current year budget. That's something that we do every year. This is mainly in those pretty similar areas in class donations, lost materials, and other local donations that had carryovers in the budget that now get moved forward into that. So while you see a change of $239,000, 236 of that is related to restricted dollars. So it's not going to affect our overall reserve for economic uncertainties. So you can see the change there from August to September. And we have a total general fund reserve of 4.06%. Very little change from prior month, excuse me. The next item that I have is on the facilities update. And there are some minimal changes on that. Let me get my notes here. So Technology High School, the last concrete was poured today. Most of the trees have been planted and sod has been installed. Also, the fields have been hydro-seeded, and the rest of the landscaping should be completed in the next month. Wright Contracting continues to work on the locker rooms. Framing and sheathing is complete, and by the end of the week, the building will be watertight. Sprinkler installation will begin next week, and everything is on schedule at this time for the Tech High project. Lawrence Jones Middle School Performing Arts Building, Alton Construction and staff are working on closing out the project. So the final punch list of normal for this type of project. And the TAG Building, DSA has certified the project. So the next step is getting the final costs from Wright Contractors and the memorandum of commencement. And then 90 days after that, we'll start making the lease payments. So pretty much on the end of that, but that's kind of the update on facilities.
Can I just make a comment on the facilities?
Sure.
In regards to Tech High School and LJ for the music room, I would like to see us have a ribbon cutting and invite the community to come and participate so they can see where their money has been spent.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next section would be on the enrollment report. And so we've included enrollment as of September 30th, 2019, and as well as a comparison for the August one that you can see. This is requested by the board, so we have both months there. Overall, there's no change in enrollment. We're still 5691, and it's about 49 students down from what we were budgeting and projecting. We also included, I think for informational purposes, we included a chart in there for the enrollment history going back to 2008 and 9. And on that chart, you can see since 2008 and 9, we've only actually had 3 years where enrollment actually increased. So continuing with the decline, and it does give the estimate as of 1920 on there. Any questions?
So this says 49 students, so you believe that's what we'll have for the 1920 year?
Well, this is where we're at right now. So enrollment's going to continue to fluctuate throughout the year. We'll gain some students, we'll lose some students. Ultimately, the one we want to look at is what we report out at P2, because that's what we're going to be funded. And those numbers are basically what our April 2020 count will be at that time.
So it looks like we're losing about 1% per year on average.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Okay.
Are you asking for general questions or just on enrollment? So I had a question for you.
Well, we're basically on the enrollment. Is it?
No, I'll just wait till you're finished.
Is there a question about enrollment?
No,
Oh,
something
okay.
else.
So that's it on this particular item.
One of the things on enrollment we were going to talk about is when students leave, any information on whether they're moving away or whatever on that kind of stuff? That would be interesting to see if, you know, the press says that people can't afford to live in California, you know, is our 1% moving away type of thing? And then too, when you have 5,691 students, there is transition. Families move, you know, from one or the other type of thing, so you can't control that, you can't stop that
Right.
type of thing.
So Matt Marshall's collecting that information from the school sites, and we'll be bringing that back in November.
Okay, great, super.
As well as, you have to look at what the class sizes are, because each year they're a little bit different. So it could be that last year we had a bigger class of seniors graduating, and the junior class was smaller, and then you're looking at the numbers as they're coming in as, in a whole.
Right, yeah.
It's a little concerning to see 5 students down in 7th, 6 students down in 8th, 5 students down in 10th, you know, just leaving the district, it looks like, for whatever purpose. So that's a little bit concerning. I know we gained a few here and there, but
But, you know, could be moving or whatever, so
yeah, it'd be good to know.
don't let anyone move.
You can't leave.
I don't let them.
You don't let them move. We will not list your house, you will stay here forever.
You have kids, you can't move, sorry.
There. Okay? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go to 11B,
Oh,
resolution.
wait,
Wait, oh,
I have a
wait.
question. Do you know the name of the construction projects Ron Sally Tomatoes
The name of the,
company
I
who's
don't,
developing that?
I don't. Not
Do you,
off the top.
It's
Do you-
Cotting, isn't it?
yeah, I
Brad
thought
Baker.
so.
Brad Baker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Brad Baker's.
Okay. Do you have any information about their projected plans for the
You talking to
development
me or
of
you
homes?
talking to?
He's talking to
Do
me.
I have any information on their plans?
Yeah.
I don't.
Hmm.
What, for developing of housing too?
Yeah,
Is it
because I hear they're starting up a big new project over there.
We haven't received any updated information on the new projects. That's, whatever potential new projects are there.
Okay, thanks.
And then as part of Matt's report, when next month, it'd be interesting to see from the 2 new sections in town, how many students are actually produced from that.
We were told 1,200 2 years ago.
That was a projection.
Mm-hmm.
Projections are projections.
Yeah, projections are projections, they don't always come out.
Yeah, so we'll provide that information.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Okay, now we'll go to 11B, resolution of 1920-7, authorization of issuance of the sale of the general obligation bond 2016 election Series D in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $18,600,000 and approving related documents and actions. I didn't say distinguished this time. It's a distinguished one.
So the resolution you have before you is to get our last issuance of the 2016 bond. This would be Series D. This would be the last issuance for the 2016 bond. We had talked about, as we reviewed information for the projects that we have wanting to move forward, we do know we need to go out and get the next realm of cash, which basically this would do. So the resolution here is before you. We have a timeline that kind of is outlined, and ultimately, the closing date would be November 14th, and that's when the bonds would sell, and we would be able to get the cash and keep cash in the bank to move forward.
Okay, any questions? If not, may I have a motion for 11B? We need a motion and a second to make this work.
I move that we approve Resolution 1920-7, authorizing the issuance of sale of general obligation bonds 2016 election Series D in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $18,600,000 and approving related documents and actions.
And I can say one word, second.
One more second. Any questions? If not, not all in favor, we will do a roll call.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Trevino?
Yes.
Trustee Gillies?
Yes.
Trustee Nod?
Yes.
Trustee Wilczek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. 11C, Resolution 1920-8, authorizing the issuance and the sale of 2020 general obligation refunding bonds in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $6 million to refund a portion of the district's 2010 general obligation refunding bonds and approving related documents and actions.
Okay, so this one somewhat piggybacks on the other one as far as the timing of it. So right now, bond interest rates are historically low, and so it's a good time to go back out and basically refund, or I'm going to use the word refinance, but basically we're taking the existing bonds that are out there and reissuing them at a lower rate. Ultimately, what it means is it'll save the taxpayers' dollars. So it's a good time to do that. This will also help us as far as the cost of issuance, because we're able to piggyback this with the other one, and it'll save us some money on that aspect too.
And Robert, it saves taxpayers $200,000?
There's some rough estimates right now. It's a little bit more than that, but ultimately we won't know till the bonds sell what the actual savings will be.
So you already sold these bonds? Is that correct?
Right?
And now you're going to resell them?
Refinance.
Are you how does
Well,
that
it's
work?
called a refunding. That's why I kind of stayed away from the term a little bit.
Mhm.
We have Randy Merritt from ISOM Advisors here. Randy, would you mind explaining that a little bit to the board members?
Sure. So it's very similar to a home mortgage where you refinance. So the new funding source for the new bonds is we sell bonds into the current market at today's interest rates. We take the money from those bonds and we use that money to pay off the old one. Once we do that, the old one goes away and you're left with the new one. So it's analogous to a home mortgage refinancing, but it requires the sale of a new set of bonds. But from a legal standpoint and from an accounting standpoint, once we sell those bonds are removed from your books and are no longer a liability of the district.
So do we have to start the clock over on when they'll be paid off? How old are these
No,
bonds?
that's a good question. So state law prohibits extending the term when you do a refunding transaction. And so these bonds go out to 2025 is the final maturity, and we'll keep the same maturity schedule out to 2025.
Okay.
And then question, if I'm a bondholder of those existing bonds and they're sold, they're cashed in, and I no longer own those bonds, correct?
That's right.
And
So
then-
when those investors bought the bonds in 2010,
Right.
they knew that there was a provision in there that would allow the school district to exercise an option to refinance those and take them away from them. And so
Right.
that date is in 2020.
Right.
And so that's what we're working towards.
Are those considered tax-free bonds for investors? Or is that
Those-
the category?
Those are tax-free bonds,
Okay.
yes.
If there's anything that's tax-free. Any other questions? If not, may I have a motion for 11C, please?
I move we approve Resolution 1920-8, authorizing the issuance and sale of 2020 general obligation refunding bonds in the aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $6 million to refund a portion of the district's 2010 general obligation refunding bonds and approving related documents and actions.
Second.
Any other questions? Not, roll call? Yes?
Yes.
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 Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Robert, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
On the Series D that are going to be sold, what's the maturity date on those?
Well, they're 30, let's see. Randy, would that still go out 30 years from?
Those are scheduled to go out to match the other bonds that are outstanding. And so that's 2046. So from now, that's 27 years. So you think about a home mortgage, 30 years, a little bit shorter than that. And another thing maybe worth mentioning, just because you're closing out the bond authorization, if you recall back in 2016, there was a political promise in terms of what the estimated tax rate would be for voters or taxpayers, and that was $49. Because your tax base has actually grown faster than was projected at that time, we're now looking at a tax rate just under $43. So you've met that political promise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, so 12A, board member reports and future agenda items. We'll start with Jennifer.
I have nothing on, I've been nowhere, because I'm kind of sad, actually. I feel like we're not doing much. I've been to no schools, I've been invited to nothing, and I think we need to get going. I feel like we're just spinning our wheels doing nothing.
There
So,
was email that the superintendent put out his,
for next week, yeah.
right, to attend things.
Mhm.
Okay,
It's been here for 2 months, so I want to get going.
okay. Tim?
Mm-hmm. Right. Just to piggyback on your comment, I'll be going to 4 of the 10 site visits that we were invited to by the superintendent. And I'll be going to the ranch, Tech High, John Reed, and Lawrence Jones for lunch. And then Joe and I went to the session 1 and 2 of the MIGS, the Masters in Governance course up at SCO, and it was great. I mean, I was sort of overwhelmed, and Joe's so cool. I mean, he's just like breezing through all the stuff, but it's amazing how much there is to learn. And one thing I realized about being a trustee, it's sort of like a continuing education. You constantly have to be updating your skill set and knowledge base, and the instructors and workshop leaders were really, really great. And so I'll miss the next one on November 2nd, the third one on finance, which is pretty good because I'm so bad at math. But because I'll be doing the guide dog training for 2 weeks down in San Rafael. But then I'll pick up session 4 and 5, and I'll make up session 5 in February over in Oakland, and CSBA was nice enough not to charge me for that. They just transferred my registration.
Super. I'll go, the Costa Group contacted me a couple days ago, and I have to get back to them. They want to start our search program again, so I will make contact with them and then let the board members know the process. And Joe and I were on that committee, so I'll contact Joe first, and then we'll give that information out to the board members, so that. Okay. And then, I mean, we had talked, you've only been here for what, a month and a half now? Or
Almost 2.
Almost 2 months, okay. And we had talked about you were going to come back to us after your initial review and make some recommendations. So would that be at the November meeting? And we talked about a goals meeting too. So
November or December.
Just, okay.
I mean, I think I'm just looking at the things that we're going to bring back in November.
Okay,
So I'm thinking perhaps in December, but maybe we could do a preview in November.
okay. All right, and then we're having a board workshop too, so, okay. Thank you. Carissa?
Yeah, I was going to mention the goals meeting for you and for us. And then also, we're looking at, you had mentioned the bylaws were not up to date.
We're going to be in the process of updating our board policies.
Okay, because I know some of them are pretty old and outdated.
And we're going to be going through a process to update those.
Okay, and then I'm also going to try to attend several of your meetings. I did have to back out of the governance class due to health reasons, so hopefully next year I'll be able to get back and do those. Thank you.
Yeah, Tim said what I did. But yeah, it was awesome. There's a lot of people there really passionate about education. It's not just trustee members, it's superintendents or teachers there. You know, so there's a lot of different people with different perspectives, totally different districts. That was another thing that was nice, because you get to, you know, you think you have I thought a couple times I had a good idea, and it's like, you guys don't do that? I was like, all right, sorry. But it's something like knowledge passed on that we can bring to the table and, you know, different ideas from different people, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's it.
It's one of the great benefits too about going to CSBA in December is because again, that's on a much bigger scale of all the different classes you get to take and the people that you meet and the ideas that you hear and you share with each other. It's a lot of great collaborating.
Oh, yeah, just to piggyback again really quickly, I'd like a recommendation from the superintendent about us attending the CSBA annual down in San Diego. My gut level feeling is that I don't want to waste money, district money, on flying us all down there. I've been to one. I kind of feel like that was important, but I don't feel like I need to go to the conference every year, especially since I'm doing the MIG. So just if you could advise us at some point on that.
Sure.
I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
So
I think it's, I'm just going to say, I think it's always a good opportunity because each year the laws change, each year programs change, and I think the opportunity to interact with other trustees from other places, you learn and are really proud of some things we're doing here, and then you also learn like, oh, maybe we could do that. So I think it's a good opportunity, and it's really an investment in yourselves as trustees, and as decisions and recommendations come forward, you build your knowledge and understanding of what's happening, so.
Okay, thank you. 12B, Superintendent's Report.
Yes, so recently we had both the parcel tax and bond oversight committees. I'm totally impressed that they both last only about 30 minutes. In a prior life, they lasted many hours. So congratulations to this district for having such efficient committees that are working. But each of the members over there very engaged, very enthusiastic, very interested in what's happening. And we'll be bringing those annual reports to the board. I believe the partial tax is going to come in December, and we'll be scheduling when the bond oversight committee will be presenting their findings as well to the board level. As the board will recall, we have a contract with WestEd, who's assisting us in looking at our special education programs. The next phase of that has happened. We sent surveys out to families at each of the school sites to get feedback and information from parents about the services their students were receiving. That committee has met once since our last meeting and will be continuing to meet. We're looking at probably a report in January that'll provide some insight into our special ed programs and some recommendations on what we might be able to do to better serve kids and perhaps save the district some money. So that'll be coming up. During this last period of time, we did not have any Williams complaints, so we're pleased to report that there were no complaints. And that is it for this evening.
Okay. We will adjourn the meeting.
Oh, one last thing.
Oh, no, we will not
we
adjourn
will
the
not.
meeting.
Sorry, one of the last issues is we are very aware that we have a shortage of substitutes, and we're looking at perhaps increasing the daily pay rate for subs, but we're also looking at how that would impact the budget. Knowing that there are limited dollars, we want to make sure that that's a good use of funds, and to make sure that increasing that will actually get more subs in classrooms. But we're aware of the issue, and we know that teachers at every school site are being impacted by the shortage of subs.
Are other districts paying more than we are?
Yes.
Okay.
No contributions or gifts?
Pardon me?
Don't we do gifts and contributions at the end?
They're not on,
Oh, okay.
there's none for this meeting. So. All right, so we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.